What up, people? It's your boy, the host with the most. I do not brag or boast, and I'm coming to you guys live from coast to coast. It's your boy. I'm Chris the Dom. Welcome to another fabulous rendition of Based on a True Story podcast. It's your host, your moderator. How y'all living? I'm living swell. Feel free to hit the subscription button, the notification bell. Share this live with your friends, families, as well as your followers. Apparently, you guys can hear me clearly. All right. So, without further ado, let's get into today's story time. Story time. Okay. I'm going to tell you the time I bet with a female about a particular game. And let's just go ahead and break into the story. I'll worry about the title later on. I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to label this on the live. Okay. So, peep this. All right. So I used to work at this retail place, and there was this lady, and her name was Phyllis. Phyllis was a red bone. She was fine as fuck. She knew she was fine. Okay, very slender, had some ass on her, had some junk in the trunk, nice chi-chis. Okay, she looked good. All right. She was one of them type of women that she don't even have to, she was like one of the type of women like, you ever step into a room and you see a gorgeous female and she hasn't said anything, but she captivates the whole room. Every man in the building is looking at her in anticipation. Every female either respected or have some haterism about the female. She hasn't even said nothing, and she just captivates the whole room. That was Phyllis, all right? So Phyllis was connected. Phyllis was heavily connected. First and foremost, Phyllis loves sports. She loves the NFL. She loves basketball. She was a sports head. Okay, nothing wrong with that. I like sports myself. All right. Her favorite team was the Titans. All right. And Phyllis had connections in the Titans, facility with the Titans organization. Phyllis would get game tickets, playoff tickets. I mean, the whole nine. All right. And Phyllis knew a lot of people in the organization. Not only that, Phyllis knew about all the good players on the Titans football team. Okay, not the mediocre ones, not the average ones, not the below average ones. She was heavily connected to all the stars in the Titans facility. Okay, so I respect that about Phyllis. It be times Phyllis would be working, and then you'll see some. I'm not going to name any NFL players because some of them still play for the Tennessee Titans. Others have been retired, and some of these guys are married. Okay, so I'm not going to name names. All right, but it was a certain Titan superstar that would always come visit Phyllis and just be talking to her. All right, now this particular superstar was married, okay, but he would, mess around, he would have side chicks and stuff like that. So he would always be oozing and cozying up to Phyllis. So Phyllis, like I said, Phyllis was heavily connected in the Titans facility, all right? So one day, me and Phyllis was in the break room and we was watching a bunch of football games, all right? And I'm a huge Dallas Cowboy fan. Big time Dallas Cowboy fan. All right. I'm up here every time every time the Cowboys would score, I'm up here hooping and hollering. Now I was at that time I wasn't a realistic Cowboy fan. I thought every year the Dallas Cowboys were going to compete for a Super Bowl every single year. I had unrealistic expectations of the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, but nevertheless, whenever the Dallas Cowboys did something good, I would hoop and holler. Every time the Cowboys did something bad, or if they lost a game, you didn't hear a peep out of me. Okay, I try to break up out of the workplace without running into anybody. Now, the problem with being a proud Dallas Cowboy fan, everybody that you work with knows that you're a Dallas Cowboy fan. So they really get at you. They really troll you when the Dallas Cowboys would lose or do a bad or dumb play, or sign a free agent that, you know, just didn't turn out very successful. Okay. So, you just had those moments, a lot of moments if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan. All right. Anywho, moving on with the story. So I'm up there watching the Dallas Cowboys. And in 2 weeks, the Dallas Cowboys are going to be playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. Shout out to the Pittsburgh Steelers. There any Pittsburgh Steelers fans in the house? Word up. All right. So 2 weeks, the Dallas Cowboys are going to be playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Phyllis, she's talking her ish. All right. Like she should. She's talking her ish. She's a huge Titans fan. But Phyllis was a casual fan from this perspective. She was really only reason why she was a true Titans fan is because she was heavily connected in the Titans organization. She better not, hoop and holler somebody else's name when you're getting connections for tickets and things of that nature. Sometimes she'll go to the away games. So there were certain players that will fly her out to go to these away games. Now, one could allude and one could speculate that Phyllis was getting entangled with a couple of these Titan players, okay? One could assume that, one could allude to that, okay? But I didn't have any evidence to collaborate if that is true or false, okay? But so sometimes, I don't judge people. I just, hey, I don't have any proof, so it ain't no sense talking about it. And, and when you try to, get some information from Phyllis about, hey, man, have you ever, slept with a couple of these players and things of that nature? She would be mum's the word. Now, a lot of the females that work at this place would tell me stories that they heard straight from Phyllis' mouth that, Phyllis would go out on dates with a lot of these Titan players. And she would go out on dates with certain Titan players that were married. And she had no issue with it. Now, like, once again, one could allude to, if they're going on dates, obviously, dude is hitting it. Obviously, dude's clapping Phyllis from the backside. We can speculate all we want, but she would never confirm nor deny if she was sleeping with these Titan players. Okay, whatever, all right? So like I said, back into the break room. Cowboys, they're winning against the Cardinals. 2 weeks from now, they're going to be playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, Phyllis comes in the break room, see I'm having a good time, trying to ruin my good time. If you deal with females always want to troll you a little bit and try to ruin your good time. I don't know. It's like something they like to do. Doesn't matter if you're going with the female or if you're friends with the female or you work with the female. Sometimes females want to, throw a little rain in your parade. Throw a little salt in the game. Okay. So Phyllis seen me having a good time. Dallas Cowboys beat the Cardinals. I'm happy. I'm in a good mood. I'm still thinking that they're going to the playoffs and into the Super Bowl. Fun fact, they didn't even go nowhere that year, but that's neither here nor there, okay? So Phyllis saying, oh, you think the Dallas Cowboys going to make it to the Super Bowl? I said, yes, I believe that, okay? So she said, you want to put some money on it? I said, look, I don't want to put no money on it. I made up some sad ass excuse. To be real with you guys, I was not that faithful that the Dallas Cowboys were going to make it to the Super Bowl, okay? But I was still a believer that they could go to the Super Bowl. But I was not willing to waste any money on a bet like that, okay? So I said, no, I'm not going to bet on that. Now, if we're betting on something else, there's a possibility. Okay, she said, oh, really? So I tell you what, ain't the Dallas Cowboys playing the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2 weeks? I said, yeah, they're playing the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2 weeks. Now she up here telling me that the Pittsburgh Steelers is another one of her favorite teams, okay, when she was a kid. Okay, whatever. All right, she's running down this story, okay? So she said, you care to wager on that? That what? That Pittsburgh beat the Dallas Cowboys. So I'm going like, yeah, I'm feeling a little comfortable, but I feel more comfortable about this bet versus the Dallas Cowboys going to the Super Bowl. I feel way more comfortable with this bet than the previous bet. Okay, so you sound okay. Hold up. Let me. Okay, I'll read your message later on. Sorry. So thanks for the thumbs up, guys. Thanks for the thumbs up. I said, yeah, I feel real comfortable about that bet. So she said, how much you willing to lose? No, she's feeling super comfortable. She's thinking I'm going to lose this bet. I'm going like, oh, it's like that. Okay, cool. All right. So you want to play this game with me. I said, I tell you what, I want you to lose something that you're going to feel it the next day when you pay me back. She said, oh, okay, I tell you what, let's bet $100. She said, I bet the Pittsburgh Steelers will beat the Dallas Cowboys, $100 bet. I'm like, bet, all right? I'm feeling real comfortable about this bet, all right? First week goes by, I'm feeling super comfortable. Right after the bet, I'm feeling super comfortable. I said, man, this is easy money. This is easy money. The Dallas Cowboys, they was telling me a fact that the Dallas Cowboys have a winning record with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I knew that going in. I'm feeling super comfortable, okay? You couldn't tell me nothing. You couldn't tell me nothing at all, okay? So, here we are. Okay, we made that bet Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm feeling good. Around Thursday, the injury report comes out, and our quarterback might miss that Pittsburgh Steelers game. I'm like, oh shit. Okay, so now I'm not feeling as comfortable like I once was. Okay, and to make matters even worse, the running back who was, he was having a great season. He was injured as well. He might miss that game. I'm like, okay, I don't feel good at all. So first week go by, watching some games. Pittsburgh beat the snot out of somebody. And that scared the ish out of me. Scared the ish out of me. So I said, okay, I don't feel super confident, but I'm not going to let anybody know that, particularly Phyllis, that I don't feel comfortable right now. You dig what I'm saying? So that first weekend goes by, with Sunday is over with. I'm watching the recaps and stuff like that. Pittsburgh beating the snot out of somebody. Dallas barely won that the game as well. I mean, barely won it. Really, it was set up for them to lose. But the players that they was talking about, that were injured and may not play. The running back was there, but the production fell off, and I think that was due to the injuries. And the quarterback, first he decided they decided to not let him play, skip that game, and play next week's game, but he ended up playing anyway. Didn't have a good, he just didn't have a good, production value of that particular game. Okay, so now I gotta fake the funk with a nasty dunk. I'm still, on the outside. I'm letting Phyllis and everybody know. Everybody start, everybody knows that I got a bet with Phyllis. So now everybody's saying, oh man, Chris, you might lose. You might lose a hundo. And Phyllis feeling comfortable. Pittsburgh done beat the snot out of I think it was Cleveland. I don't know. They played somebody. They just beat the brakes off of them. Okay. They beat them with, they just beat the brakes off of them. Okay. We barely won. All right. So I'm not feeling all that comfortable, but I can't show nobody that I'm not feeling comfortable. All right. So that whole week up to Sunday was was somber. I was super somber. I was somber. I was calm. I didn't hype up. I wasn't hyped up or anything. There was a possibility I could lose this bet. And even worse, there's a possibility that not only I'm going to lose $100, I'm going to lose $100 to Phyllis, okay? To Phyllis, who we all said that, hey, the only reason she's into football is because she's got, she's been, she's got connections to the organization. She knows a lot of the stars that play on that team. That's the only reason why she's a football fan or a big time Titans fan. Okay, so I'm about to lose to her. So I'm preparing myself. The past 2 days before Sunday, I'm preparing myself that, look, I'm going to lose this game. You know, okay, it's not about how you lose, it's how you handle the L. Okay, if you keep making excuses on this, on that, you're not taking this L very well, and then people are going to be talking about this throughout the duration of not only this season but future seasons to come. Okay, particularly if you're continuing to work here. So I'm preparing myself that I'm going to lose this game because I'm not very confident that the Dallas Cowboys are going to beat Pittsburgh. All right. So Sunday comes. All right. I'm crossing my fingers. All right. I'm off Sunday. All right. First couple of drives, the Cowboys did not look good. They sucked. They were ass. All right. The first couple of drives. All right. Quarterback ain't as he ain't as crisp like he normally is. The running back, he ain't making extra cuts. He's not really dancing in the backfield. He's not juking once he breaks open. I mean, it looks bad, folks. The first couple of drives of the Dallas Cowboys look bad. It looked so bad I had to turn off television. I was up here. I didn't turn off television. I just watched the movie. I didn't want to watch any games because if you know how you be watching other games, you see on the ticker your team. Oh, by the way, Dallas Cowboys, they still losing to Pittsburgh. I don't want to see none of that shit. All right, so I'm up here trying to watch a movie. I'm up here. I think it was a James Bond movie. I'm not sure what it was. It was a movie I've seen a dozen times, but I'd rather watch this dull ass James Bond movie than to watch another second of that particular game because I already knew, hey, look, I done lost this Hondo. I do not want to be reminded of how bad I lost this Hondo. All right, so I'm getting kind of curious. Like 40 minutes done passed by. Well, more than 40 minutes. I said like an hour and 10 minutes done passed by. I'm getting kind of curious. I'm getting real curious. I'm saying to myself, you know what? I'm gonna turn back, see how bad I done lost. I mean, I'm gonna be a man about it. I'm gonna watch the rest of the game. I'm gonna be a man about it. I done lost $100, and I just prepare for the worst. That's basically what I was doing, preparing for the worst. I immediately switched over. Dallas Cowboys are up by 14, and it was like 3 minutes left. So they're up by 14. They still got the ball. They ran that clock down to a minute. Now Pittsburgh gets the ball. There's no way in the world Pittsburgh is going to score twice that fast unless they get one play right off the, a Hail Mary. They score, and then they get lucky again with an offside kick or something like that, and they get the ball, and then they're able to score again with a minute. I don't see how all those factors would have played a huge part in them scoring 14 points. All right. So luckily for me, Dallas won by 14. I was excited. I was through the roof. Now, remember what I told you. I was somber. I was humble. I was going to, I was prepared to take the L. I'm doing all that. Now, since the Dallas Cowboys won, I'm getting all hyped up, all right? But I wanted to do it respectful and classy. Okay? So I said to myself, you know what? I'm not even going to go into work the next day asking for the money. She knows she owes me money. She's not gonna, welch on the bed. She knows what time it is. Everybody in the store knows that me and her betted, including the managers. I'm not even gonna make a big scene. I'm not gonna try to embarrass her. I ain't trying to do none of that stuff. All right. So the next day comes, I come walking in there. clocked in. She was at the office. I just gave her a stare down. Just a little stare down. Just to, let her, just check her temperature. Just let her know I'm in here. If you got the money, you can just give it to me now. I prefer you give it to me in cash. I respect that. Okay, but I didn't say nothing to her. All right. So she's just got this look on her face like, man, I ain't got it. I ain't got it like that. Okay, now remind you, this is the same female that, moseys with, smothers up with NFL players constantly coming into the building. I'm talking about star NFL players coming to the building. All right, not gonna say no star's name on the Titans roster. The people that I'm about to name you, they are either married or got a girlfriend. I'm not trying to mess up nobody's happy home. All right. So, I said, I'm not even going to be on that type of time. I'm just going to walk up to her and just say, hey, maybe we can work something out. Maybe, if you ain't got it now, I'm willing to wait, this, that, and the third, so I'm walking up to her. And she was at this Coinstar machine. I thought she was like just leaning on the Coinstar machine. This lady had all types of shoe boxes full of change. And she's putting all the change in the Coinstar machine because she wants to hurry up and pay off this debt, because it's $100. All right. So she was short, but she had enough change. And I said, hey, you don't have to do all that. I'm willing to wait. She said, no, I want to pay you right now. Bet's a bet. All right. So, okay, cool. If you want to, take it that way, okay, cool. I appreciate that. You want to pay it off now? I appreciate that. So, she told me to come back a couple hours. I come back in a couple of hours. She had the $100. Okay. It was all in 20s, a couple of 10s and things of that nature. And she gave me the money. That day, and I appreciate that. I didn't say, I didn't make no fun. I didn't make fun of her. I didn't troll her. I didn't do none of that stuff. I was being an adult about it. Okay. So, from that year on, she was not that hype. And she wasn't, willy-nilly throwing out bets to everybody. Personally, to be perfectly honest, I felt like I was the only one she wanted to do a bet with in the store. Okay? So, look, if she didn't say she didn't have it, we can work something out, like maybe you dropping them draws or something like that. I wouldn't mind smashing her, anything like that. But hey, she's fine. Now, context of the story later on, I left that store. Later on, she, like I said, about 4 or 5 years after that, she was, now she done converted. She done changed her religion. She's a Muslim now. She's married to a Muslim. She's in the Muslim culture. And I always see her sometimes with her husband. And I always say this every time I see her. Like, does her husband know that she was out here tricking on NFL players? But that's their business. That ain't my business. That's their business. All right. But she getting flew out. Does her husband know the backstory to his wife? I don't know. If he likes it, I love it. Okay, if he likes it, I love it. All right. Obviously, he feels like there's some qualities in her that he wanted to give her his last name, and she's married. She's happily married. But there was a period of time, man, Phyllis, man, she would hang out with all these NFL stars. There'd be a couple of basketball stars. She'll hang out with some YNs. I mean, she was running the streets. She was for the streets. She was for the streets, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. She was definitely for the streets. She was about that life, okay? But cannot confirm nor deny that, somebody was, when she was smashing, but, don't know. I really didn't put no investigation on it. You know, it is what it is. You know, that's her business. She wants to sleep around with other men. That's cool. I ain't got no problem with it. So I'm gonna read y'all messages. Okay. So Reset T, Carlos. I don't know what that is, Carlos. Sheet said you sound as if. Hold up. What you say? I don't know. Maybe you're trying to be funny, but you sound like as if throw up ate it and then ate yours. I don't get that, dog. I don't get that. I know you're trying to be funny, but Sheet, man, come on, man. We could have done better than that. You could have came up with a better joke than that. No Kenneth. No jokes today. I know you tried to make a funny. That was a stinker, man. That was a stinker, my friend. But I really do appreciate everyone coming in the building. I really do appreciate everyone with the lights. Guys, I'm about to end this. Please don't forget to hit the subscription button, the like button, share this with your friend, family, as well as your follower. This is another classic episode. Your boy, I'm Chris Don One, signing off based on a true story podcast. I'll try to come back tomorrow. I'll see you guys later. I'm gone. Deuce.